Okay, let's talk about material in Cinema 4D. In this series, I want to explain material manager here. That's if you click and you can open the material editor manager and you can assign all of your material to your object with here. If you by default click in here, it automatically create a node-based material that I want to explain it later. All of these are the same with the thing that I want to explain here. Then delete. I want to first explain if you're holding your mouse, the menu will be open. And here, I want to explain new standard material. This is a standard and old material before Node.base come to Cinema 4D. And here you can see all of these settings there. If you want to open it with more setting, I suggest you double click on this. And I want to explain the material editor and all of these settings there. First, let's talk about a little about material and how assign them and what is this in these menus here. Let's just change the color of the material, simple material here. And the first thing that you can assign it, simply click and drag on any material or object that you want. If you come here and assign and bring a lot of other objects, you can simply click and drag them and make and my attention to the here. As you can see, the material also assigned as a tag here. That if you click, we have all other settings on material tag here. Then you can click and drag and delete your material from here, and the material will be deleted from the object. You can Control C and Control V another material, or again new standard material there. And just change the color to better understanding which material is which. And if you right click, we have a lot of other settings that I explain it later. All of the settings that if you double click are there. If you right click, if your material has a texture, you can load texture from here. If you edit it, it's this window will be open. Let's talk about the right click. You can rename it or just double click on name here and you can name it. Scroll to selection. If you assign this material to that, or you can select your material and right click and simply apply. This is another way. If you select an object and it's automatically select the object here and the corresponding material of that. You can see select material of the object, select material of active object. For example, I deselect everything. I don't know. For example, I accidentally select that. And automatically, if you right click, automatically right click and scroll to the selection, or select the material tag object. If you select it, it select the corresponding object of that material. Or if you select the object, you can select the material of the active object here. Let's see. Select the object, it's automatically selected, and here. Or you can select the tag of that. It select the object, tag, and corresponding object that. If you unselect everything, that's it's very helpful when you have a lots of object and material here. And you can scroll to the selection. And another thing, you can sort material. I explained layer before, but you can add the material layer to your object. For example, I want to add the to new layer, and we have a lots of and we have another tab here. It's all the object that the material has no layer and this layer of that. You can go to the all and add another standard. You can Control C and Control V a lot of Then you can click and drag, select them, and add to new layer or add to the layer that you create previously. And as you can see, we have a lots of layer. In a layer, you can see all of that setting that I explained before. You can hide and unhide them, delete from hierarchy, lock them if you want, don't anybody touch them. Okay, this is a layer. From here you can rename your layer. I explained them before, but the layer name comes here with that. The object that have no layer are here. If you right click on any material, if you right click in the material, you can see open the layer manager of here if you want, or add to another layer here that you want, or you can create another layer, simple layer, and then for example assign this to this layer. Okay. The object and the material, it's as you can see, we have a symbol that it's referred to the layer color. Right click on the material. If you right click here, you can or if you double click, you can enter default material node base. Here you can say material list and something like that. This is for body paint. Okay, this is for body paint. You can change the size of them here if you want. It's very easy. Right click and remove from the current. I explain later. These are our takes. With the takes manager, it's very useful. Delete unused material. Wow, we have a lot of unused material that we don't assign to the object. Or delete duplicate material. The material has duplicate with the same name. For example, I holding control to duplicate a material, and then you can right click and delete duplicate material. Another way of assigning material is click and drag and drop on the object, and the last tag will be calculated above the material. And I explain it later. With alpha, you can mix the materials that are on top of each other. You can simply click and drag and change the material order very easily here, or you can click and drop exactly. You can delete that. If you want to replace it, simply click and drag exactly above the this material, and you can you can go to the view and size it to the large. You can replace it with previous material. If you select it, we have a lot of other tag material here. I'll explain later. In a create, we have a default material. We have a standard cars, for a lot of material that I explain it later. And if you hold your create, as you can see, it's very heavy and it takes time to calculate. And a lot of all material that I explain it before later. Classic materials and load materials from here. If you have a material, you can here select one material and then save material as one object, or save all material. From here you can save your material that you created, and then from here you can load your material again if you want. For example, I create a new scene with a new material, and come here and create and load material from my desktop. This is my material, and it's loaded all of the material, and it's very useful. Don't forget that. In the create, in edit, you can cut, copy, paste your material. Select it, copy it, paste it, and duplicate it with holding control. You can do it. Delete unused material, delete duplicate material, add to new layer, material editor, or if you have a node editor, you can use it, or remove from the layer if you want. It's an edit, very simple. So for a view, you can use the layer in a single line. If you have a layer, you can see that. But sorry, this is a new project. Delete that. You can, if you have a lots of layer, you can see in the line. Okay, for example, go in a layer. I add a lot of layer there. And you can undock it. Select some material. You can simply click and drag them on the layer and assign them to any layer that you want. And now you can okay, you can see this material, add more. And as you can see, these are at the same line. Going to the view, you can not doing that, you can see all material at once if you want. This is the material list, layer manager, compact, and all of these for body paint. I explain the body paint later, but it's here for the material. You can see view, for example, like this. This is a special for body paint routine, and it's very more advanced. It's a simple material here. With click and drag, you can select all or holding Alt or Shift. This is view, select. You can select all, deselect, all the selection that I explained before. And material. If you render all material, it's actually re-render all of this thumbnail and refreshing. If you have high resolution texture or shader or material, you can use it, or you can render some material that you clicked. You can sort material, and we have a lots of other tools here that I explain them later in the project. And of course, material exchanger. The material exchanger, it's not very useful, but if you have a texture on your material, if you double click in a color, you can load the image or texture from your project here. And then you can, if you open a new project, you can exchange your texture. That I don't like to doing like this. So it's very brief explanation of all of these settings. We work more with these settings. Don't worry if you I explain them fast. In future, you can see better this option. And that's it. In the next lesson, let's talk about the material editor and explain them one by one and see what's happened in all of these settings. And after that, we are going to the node-based material.